Oh, hi the new, we're off to see Trainspotting 2. Sorry. So yeah, we're going to see Trainspotting 2. Two! Or as they say in Scotland, Trainspotting numero dos. I think, is that Scottish? And for my review of this one, well, you know, ordinarily at this point you'd probably be expecting this guy to be sitting in on it, but no, he's not this time because someone's got his own channel!
Jay the Ball Guy!
Exactly, so I'll be dropping a link to Justin's channel down below. He's just started and he's doing amazingly well. Alright, so without further ado, here it is, Trainspotting 2! Trainspotting 2, aka T2 Trainspotting, which I'm refusing to call it because where I come from, there's only one T2.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
So this is of course a sequel to 1996's Trainspotting, directed by Danny Boyle once again, and it stars Ewan McGregor, Ewan Bremner, Johnny Lee Miller and Robert Carlyle reprising their roles from the first film. So the plot is essentially what happens when Ewan McGregor's character Mark Renton comes back after having swindled them out of quite a large sum of money at the end of the first film. Uh-oh, spoiler! And basically how his supposed best friends deal with the fact that, well, he ripped them off. And of course, once the human pit bull Begbie, played by Robert Carlyle, finds out that he's back in town, well, you know what Begbie's character was like from the first one?
Yes!
Yeah, he was kind of scary, so naturally that's where our tension in the movie comes about because, well, he wants his money back. So going into this movie, you know, we were kind of curious as to whether or not it would be relevant. I mean, the first Trainspotting was such a fantastic snapshot of that particular culture, like the heroin culture of the 90s, and was this a sequel that needed to be made? I mean, is it a story that needed to be told? And fortunately, yeah, they did a really good job of continuing the story and making it relevant. So straight away, I mean, look, I love this movie because I love anything Danny Boyle does. I mean, the guy, if you're familiar with his work, he has such an incredible style that is all his own, and this movie was so full of all his, you know, signature editing styles and trademark cinematography, so I absolutely lapped up every frame. The performances from all the characters were great. You could just sort of tell that everyone was so happy to be back. I mean, it was a shame that Kelly MacDonald's character from the first one only had a very small role in this, but then again, I guess she kind of had a small role in the first one, really. But everyone did a great job, and the script was fantastic. It was really, really funny in places, particularly one scene where Renton and Sick Boy go to this bar where they've got to sing a song before they're allowed to leave. Man, that one had the audience rolling. And one really clever thing that I thought the film did was, you know, one of the themes was that you can't dwell in the past forever. You've got to move on. And this film, in a way, kind of mirrored that by relying on certain things that happened in the first film, certain shot choices, certain pieces of music that were brought back. And I thought that was really clever. In a way, it was almost ironic that, you know, this film is trying to tell us not to live in the past, but it was doing it itself. And in case you're wondering, this movie doesn't have anything near the kind of shock value that the first one had. I mean, let's face it, the first one had some pretty confronting and harrowing scenes, but there wasn't really anything in this film that was like that. And in a way, that was also a reflection of the times we live in, because, you know, we're so desensitized to things that we see in movies, you know, really shocking stuff, and nothing's really shocking anymore. And yeah, so this movie, you know, there were so many things that it did like that that made it relevant for today. But therein lies one of its weaknesses. I did kind of feel that one of the themes it was trying to put across was that in order to change our world, we've got to start by changing ourselves. You know, the movie was about redemption, it was about moving forward, but I kind of thought they could have done that a little bit more effectively. It was almost like this movie was trying to put a theme across, but it just didn't quite connect with me. And aside from that, at nearly 2 hours, I thought maybe the runtime was a little bit long. It wasn't, I mean, you know, it was a very entertaining movie, but I did kind of feel maybe this should have been a 90-minute story. That would have been sufficient. But definitely check this movie out, especially if you like the first one. You're definitely going to dig this. It was a great continuation of the story. It was relevant, you know, and it was good to see what happens 20 years later to these characters. If you haven't seen the first one, I don't think you're going to like it quite as much. You really need to have been on this journey with the characters before in order to really appreciate what they're going through now. But I definitely enjoyed Trainspotting 2. I will definitely own it when it comes to Blu-ray, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So thank you for taking the time to watch this review. Now, Justin Hartwell, who I've had on board my couch a few times, that didn't sound right. Well, as I said at the start, he's got his own review channel now, so make sure you check it out, especially if you like what he brought to my videos. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below and a little thing on the end that you can click on, so definitely check out his channel, subscribe if you like what he's doing, and give the man some love. And in the meantime, stay tuned because coming up next, I'm going to have a review of Ring, the original Japanese horror movie, the remake The Ring, and then obviously that'll be followed by Rings. And in the meantime, if you've seen Trainspotting 2, let me know what you thought. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All the social media links are in the description below because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.